This morning, I'm trying to get my point straight here. This morning, Father Evans again gave a 4-minute and 25-second homily. So my first point is an 11-minute review of his 4.5-second homily. Interestingly, in today's gospel, they're in a bind. They don't have enough food to feed these people. Philip says, look, there's nothing we can do about this. Peter said, well, there's a kid over here, but it ain't going to help much. We have people in our lives like that all the time. Something happens, there's a difficulty, there's an apparent tragedy, things aren't going our way, we go to our friends, well, it's not going to work. You might as well cash in now. Holding out hope for God really isn't an option. There's lots of naysayers. There's lots of negativity. I don't know why Nancy got hit as negative Nancy. I feel sorry for Nancy's. Negative Neds. There's not just an optimism. There's a real miraculous presence when Christ gets involved. We involve Christ. And what from human lenses seems impossible, with Christ is often possible. So today you're in the presence of a feeding miracle. Jesus' heart continues to have extraordinary concern, far greater than even a mother for her infant. He has the most, that's a beautiful concern, multiplied by infinity. That's how much concern, how much love, how much care God has for his people. Today's gospel, they're all excited because they got bread. They were so excited they got bread. So think about this. They just got bread. They got bread. They freaked out. Like, well, we got bread. Let's make him king. They wanted to make him an earthly king. That's why he withdrew. Jesus wants us to come to him on his terms. It's okay to be at Mass because God gave you bread. God healed your mother. Your cancer is gone. It's all good. It's all positive. Are we still going to God when things aren't going our way? Jesus, in today's gospel, withdrew. He did not want to be an earthly king. I have great suspicion. I have great confidence, better trust, that many of us, most of us here right now, have been given by God a lot more than bread. A consciousness that helps us remember the good things the Lord has done for us in the land of the living. Just hearing those kids' voices. And I thought about this. This is not going to come out right because I have a very warped sense of humor. If any of those kids wind up in the penitentiary, it has nothing to do with their parents. I know, that's my sense of humor. They're on a roll. And they're doing this because their parents come to church. Getting their kids acclimated to the church rhythm. That's profound. It's powerful. It's awesome. But we all can say that in some respects. We came here to crown Christ our King. Because he's done more for us than just give us bread. He's given us bread. Now, I'm going to Poland soon. I was in Poland in '87, where there were real bread lines. When people talk about why communism fell, this is a very simplistic answer, and I'm sure there's a lot of other answers. One answer why communism fell, people were tired of waiting in line for bread. How about that? They knew that their rights, their dignity was greater than the government was giving them. And they started a revolution. Yes, Reagan helped. Yes, John Paul II helped. But the Polish were behind it. Solidarity. They imposed, if you don't know the story, the quick version of this, the Polish government, run by the commies from Russia, imposed martial law. And the workers went on strike. So there's this battle between the Polish government, run by the commies, and the Polish people. So how did the Polish people survive under martial law? Little unknown fact. The bishops and the priests were smuggling in, especially the bishops, because they had the diplomatic pouch. Cash, lots of cash. From where? Chicago, Philly, all the Polish centers. Not just in the United States, throughout the world. And they fueled those Polish people. And they brought down the communists. So it's a good actual visual aid. People are standing. That's good. If you're handicapped, get a seat. Stand, Mass is an hour. People stood a lot longer for earthly bread. We came in for something much greater than that. So here's the simple homily. Sacrament and sacrifice, satisfaction and share. Not Sonny and share. Share like share with other people. So first and foremost, notice the pattern Jesus uses when he feeds these people. He takes the bread, he blesses it, he breaks it, He gives it to his companions, his disciples, and they go out and feed the crowd. Have you seen that pattern anywhere else? Like at Mass? I was just at the Italian restaurant, some poor guy sitting at the bar at the Italian restaurant, and why am I bringing this to your attention? Because they paid for my meal? No. Oh, because I said, when Catholics come out of Mass, every once in a while they give them a hard time. They say, Father, nice service. I said, we're Catholic. This wasn't a service. This was Mass. What's the difference? I'll tell you the difference. The food you're about to eat is not mere bread. It is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ that is the sacrifice and resurrection of Christ made present under the appearance of bread. That's why we call it a sacrament. It's a sacrament because it looks like bread, it tastes like bread, but it's God. Our faith tells us this because Jesus told us this. And within the context of sharing in the King's high banquet, we receive the merits of Calvary. Salvation comes forward to 5, whatever time you receive communion. So when you hear the bells, salvation comes forward to St. Thomas at that moment. The cross of Christ is made present in this church at that moment. That's why I'm a Catholic Christian. Small point. Another reason why I'm a Catholic Christian. After he fed all those people, he says, pick up the bread. Good. We're not wasting any food. People waste a lot of food. I'm not here to start that fight with you. That was my mom back in the 70s, and look what happened. But the point is, they took the crumbs, and they filled up 12 wicker baskets. The Catholics are the only Christians. Because the Willows got communion, the Baptists got communion, the Lutherans got communion, the Episcopalians, they all got communion. They don't have tabernacles, though. We're the only one with a tabernacle. What does that mean? Once Mass is over, because Christ is really present, we don't throw him away. We save him. We put him in a tabernacle. We actually have a adoration chapel. Because the sacrament carries with it the real presence of God. The King who invites us to the party to feed us with more than bread but himself, he wants us to share his kingship. Think about that. He doesn't want just minions. He doesn't want just soldiers. He doesn't just want comrades, pun intended. He wants fellow kings and, well, queens, I guess. If that helps any woman. He wants to share his kingship with us. That's profound. That's awesome. So first and foremost, we come to Mass to honor the King for what we receive, which is far greater than bread. And he feeds us with himself because of the gift of the sacrament. And that's why I'm Catholic. He feeds us with himself. And that sacrament is the dying and rising of Christ. It's profound. It's powerful. Can you give me another example how we could tell it's a sacrament? Well, what happened on Calvary? The blood was poured out of his body to the last drop of blood. When the priest at Catholic Mass, not service, and the actual name is the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, if you're old enough to remember that. That's the official title of where you are right now. And the priest consecrates the bread into the body and the wine into the blood separately. You hear the bells separately to make present visibly in sign that the blood was poured out of the body. That's the sacrifice. And we come up and we receive the sacrament, which embodies the sacrifice. It's atonement. What is the Polish, in the Magnificat, another Polish priest. I love these Polish people. We should never tire of saying that the Holy Eucharist communicates our redemption. Why? I don't know who's thinking this thought right now. How many people came to Mass tonight thinking, I want to be saved. I want the antidote for death. I want to receive immortality. Those are all real. That's all true. That's why I go to Mass. I don't ever want to miss Mass. I would not knowingly, willingly try to miss Mass. Because I want God to live inside of me. And for all of you, those of you who use the Adoration Chapel, who go in there, who sit there, who pray there, tell others, drum up some attention, drum up some attraction. It's profoundly beautiful. In today's gospel, we hear about them eating the bread, the pasta, the bread, like I need either one of those two, and they were satisfied. When you come to Mass, you should be satisfied. You should never leave the way you came. Whatever's weighing upon you. That book club I got, it's on tape, by the way. It's worth it. The last book club, the last topic was Job. And we learned together as a class on Thursdays at 7 o'clock that I don't keep my faith despite suffering, but I got my faith through suffering. First and foremost His, and secondly, the ones I share in when I unite my sacrifices with Him that make my faith stronger. And I got to tell you this as a priest. I got the microphone. You're looking up this way. We get a lot more faith out of the people in the pews than you probably get from us. When we visit your relatives, when we visit you in the hospitals, when we see your charity, and we see your marriages, the sacrifices you make. You do a lot for our faith too. So the Holy Communion should be a satisfying experience. They're going to say, I don't know what they're going to do. Sometimes they sing, usually in this parish, we always got music. It's always music. That's fine. I'm not in charge. But when you're at your pew, if you're not singing, they got pretty nice voices. After communion, every time, if you're not singing, close your eyes. Try to get to that spiritual level where you're actually feeling satisfied. Forget feeling. How about you know you're satisfied? How about you know? How about you feel awful? Your kids are driving. You got small kids in church. They're bothering you. It's hard to pay attention. You got a lot going on. Then you receive communion, and maybe just for a moment, without feeling it, you know that God is inside of you. You know that redemption has come one day forward and has come into your soul. That you have a deep, abiding sense. Not an intuition, not a feeling. A deep, internal sense that God abides in me. And He's pouring out innumerable graces. That's very satisfying. For the parents who brought their kids to do the singing, for all of you who brought your children, I hope you taught them and I hope you keep teaching them. As I'm telling them now, there are no earthly trophies that bring this kind of satisfaction. There's no earthly bread that brings this kind of satisfaction. It's Christ, and it's Christ alone. And once I know that, everything about my life changes. Everything about my life changes. My choices, my dress code, my friendships, my language, my spending habits, who I hang around with. If Christ is my King and I make Him my all, it's going to be my first priority. I'm going to be sensitive to offending God. I'm not going to want to say goofy things. And when I hear you say them or I hear them on TV, I make the sign of the cross. I do some form of reparation. But He changes it all. And it's very, very satisfying. So there's only one more thing left, which is to announce Him. To make His name known to other people. If this is my life, if this is my joy. Look, at the restaurant just now, if I wanted to eavesdrop on the other tables, I did not. If I wanted to, how long do you think it takes to listen to someone talk before you figure out what's important to them? It doesn't take long to figure out what's important to somebody. Jesus is important to us. You came here tonight. You came here because He's King. I'm ending this homily. You came here because you got more. You got bread, and you got more than bread. The Polish helped bring down the wall, and there's an incredible in France, in Cannes, France, which was bombed. Unbelievable story. But they bombed it from the sky after they got onto Normandy Beach. There was a big town called Cannes, not Cannes Film Festival, Cannes, and they leafed it. They says we can't get in by normal means. We're going to bomb this thing, and they bombed the whole town. The whole city. Why do I know that? Because there's a war museum there that makes this incredible claim. I'm off on a tangent, but I'm going to end this tangent. It made a claim I never even heard before. If you're from Czechoslovakia, keep going. That whole Slavic area, the Baltics. What's above Lithuania? Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia. They weren't free till 1989. In some cases, 1991. Do we even know that? Do we even know that? Seriously. Do you realize that in Europe, in 1989, those countries were still under the Iron Curtain, still under the grip of the Russians? That's That's profound. And that museum shows that forward. The Polish, the Catholic religion that fueled their value system brought down the evil empire. And it's powerful. Back to waiting in line. So what's your conclusion? Tell someone that you love Christ. Tell someone that Christ is the center of your life. And as you move forward in this great gift of the faith, not despite suffering, through suffering, with suffering, suffering can be a great purifier to let you enter this Mass with ever greater clarity that I came here for redemption. I came here to be saved. I came here to share the kingship with my Heavenly Father that I'm about to receive under the appearance of bread, the most holy Eucharist. And when we're done, watch, we're going to put Jesus back in the tabernacle. We're not going to let any fragments go and leave him on the ground.